Hello. Well, we're back on your favorite TS, where we tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. And as we say all the time, truth crashed to earth shall rise again. And our regular promise, which has become a vital part of our presentation, is to all those gendarmians. And what we say is that we shall suffocate all your gendarme with the truth. and anyway, somebody just told me yesterday that Charlie is not just the political gendarme or the prophets too, they are doing a spiritual gendarme. So just so you know, all you spiritual gendarmes too, we shall suffocate you with the same truth. Anyway, the question that we'll be asking is, what time is it? And the answer is always the usual, but it's nation time. Well, yesterday, the nation came together to mourn and then finally bury the 8 Ghanaian people. Well, it was a funeral service. Some of them have been buried already, but there was an official funeral service for the 8 Ghanaian people that lost their lives. So now they have all been laid to rest. And what can we say again? You know, enough tributes have been said, more than I can ever think of. Plenty tributes have gone out. So I can just add my condolence and wish the family well. And I hear that the government has decided to set up some kind of benefit system for the families to take care of them. So we wish them all well, and we ask that they all rest in peace. Okay. And in the same light, I think that they have announced that the helicopter crash is going through forensic audit. They are testing it to find out what actually went wrong. So I hear there are even foreign experts and everything working on this. And I really believe that very, very soon, what went wrong will come out for all of Ghana to see, whether it was a mechanical error, whether it was a technical error, whether it was just a human error, whatever error it is, to come out for all Ghanaians to see. And then when we see what happens, we try and prevent that error from happening again as much as we can. And then finally, hopefully, all this talk about why did God do that will stop, because we'll find out what went wrong. And speaking of it's not being from God, I mean, I did a very extensive thing on that the last episode, but here again, I have some evidence too. You know, I was talking about this when I did that presentation, and sadly for me, you know, the speaker, Honorable Alan Bagbing, has also added his voice to caution people regarding prophecies.
The reverends, we should listen to them. It's not all of them who are looking for money. Don't take what they say for granted. If they say act, act. I listen to all. I myself have been threatened many times. And I listen to the prophecies. I don't take them sleeping. Because that's their area. I can't say somebody who is not in parliament would know parliamentary work more than me. And so I don't know about the spiritual world more than those who are taking it as a career. And so all these things work for good. We should not ignore them.
Mr. Speaker, let me say I beg to differ. I really beg to differ. And I think what bothered me was, well, you made the presentation. I understand you were visiting some grieving families, you know. And while you were visiting the grieving families, this is when this issue came up. And you talk about, well, we shouldn't take prophecy for granted and we should look into prophecy. I think the timing was wrong, Mr. Speaker, you know. Your own Bible says, you mourn with those that mourn, and you rejoice with those that rejoice. That's what your own Bible says, that for everything there's a season. There's a time to mourn, there's a time to rejoice, you know. And if you really understand it, then when you meet with the grieving families, it's a time to mourn, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's a time to mourn. So when you're mourning, it's a time to console them. I would think it's a time to assure them, you know, that don't let your faith die, because this was not the work of God. The report will come out and we'll see that it must have been some human error, some error, you know. So keep your faith in God, because this didn't come from him. You see, what you should tell the grieving families is this, that yeah, you're going through pain, you're going through tragedy, and you're going through this whole period which is full of pain for you. But what you should tell them is this, that even at this period, the God that you serve is still with you. That's what you should be saying. Oh, you know, let's not start thinking that God has guaranteed us great life. Okay. God never guarantees that nothing will go wrong. However, the guarantee is that if things go wrong, you must realize that he's still in control. And I think for me, maybe you disagree with me, but for me, that's a more consoling thing to tell a grieving family. Say, you've lost your son, we mourn with you, you know, but please be aware that even at this crucial time, God is with you. It is much, much, much better than, oh, don't take prophecies for granted, and the prophecy, you know. I just beg to differ with you, Mr. Speaker. And I think it's not a good way to mourn with people who are grieving. Anyway, I've said enough about prophets and prophecies and everything, and I still maintain that their death wasn't caused by God. So I've said my piece. Now let's move on. Okay, now what everybody is talking about now that is in the news is this, this by-election coming. I think Engineer Kwabena Japan has issued even a written letter that we should get to the point where when somebody dies, there should be no by-election. Just move on as it was when the voting was done, which means that whatever has happened, let's just continue. And there should not be any by-election. If the seat was being held by the MPP, they should continue. If it was being held by the NDC, they should continue. Because they waste money, and they made some very, very good arguments. You know, Kwabena Japan said he has heard that they are thinking about deploying like 5,000 policemen to Akwatia, you know, and these are all coming with expenses. And so he was saying, look, why even go through these things? Why incur these costs as a broke country? Let's just move on. So I won't lie, it was a very, very good point. And I hear Kofi Bentil too has been making the same statements that, you know, why should this, you know. I actually at one point, when there was a lot of violence in Blekuma, I actually said, Charlie, whatever happens at the Akwatia was not going to change the fundamental framework of parliament. So why can't we just move on? Do we have to go through another election? That's what I said, you know, until I had a young man on, Ivan, who was arguing that no, KSM, that cannot be democracy, because the democracy we are doing is based on the Constitution. And the Constitution actually demands that when a sitting member of parliament is no longer, there must be a by-election. And that, he said, is a constitutional provision. So I'm saying to Engineer Kwabena Japan, to the Bentils and everything, I think you make some very good point. I was on that point myself. However, I think that if, in fact, the Constitution is the one that states that, then we should change the Constitution. This is the thing about democracy and the rule of law. You're going by the Constitution. So you can't just decide, say, okay, for this one day, let me step aside the Constitution and let's do it this way. As the famous SE said, the law is the law.
No matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
So if the law says that there must be a by-election, unfortunately, then there must be. If we don't want it, then let's get together and change the law. When we change the law, then nobody has anything to say because the law has been changed, okay? And actually, folks, the MPP went to see General Mosquito, and they said this, they are not coming from the point of view, say, it's expensive or it's quite different from Kwame Japong's argument and Bendel's. They are saying that for the respect of Murtala, in honor to pay respects to him, they don't want to be seen as competing, or not seen as, they don't even want to compete anymore, so they are pulling off. And trust me, the intentions look very, very noble. That he has suffered such a terrible accident and we are now going to compete for his seat and then. Let's pull out. For me, the intentions really do look noble. But this is Ghana. And this is politics, and politics is ready into everything. So people are not trusting it. I'm watching the comments that are coming from left, right, and center. They're, oh, no. These people, they are, you can't trust them. They don't mean that. Why would people even say they don't mean that? But anyway, I just wanted to take a closer look at this whole thing, and try and analyze it factually. Why is it that they say they are withdrawing? Is it because they really are commiserating with the family and out of respect for him they want to pull out? Or, as people suspect, is it because of the results? So I did some tracking and I got the pin sheet of that result. So when I checked the pin sheets, folks, the candidate that contested for the MPP, I think, is Suleiman Salifu. He got 16,647 votes. 16,647 votes. And the candidate, Ibrahim Muntala, who went for the NDC, he got 52,263 votes. So that's what people are saying, well, the margin and the gap was too huge. And they say they suspect that the NPP does not think it can really catch up and take that seat. And that's why they are coming up with a reason to back off. So when that happened, I said, okay, if they are backing off out of respect for Murtala, I understand. Let me go further and check and see what the results were in Akwatia. And checking on Akwatia parliamentary, I just see that the candidate for the MPP, Ernest Yakumi, won with 19,269 votes. And the NDC candidate, I believe his name was Yadom Boakye. Yadom Boakye followed with 17,206 votes. So folks, this is just really common basic analysis. When you check the results, is it really out of respect for Murtala or the fear that they will enter and lose again? That's what I'm thinking. However, when you look at the Akwatia, MPP won. But the margin was not that as great as the defeat margins in Tamale Central. So I asked this question. If, for example, in Tamale Central, the margin of victory for the NDC had been just about maybe 200, if it was a tight, close election, and the margin of victory would have just been about maybe 200 or maybe 1,000, do you think that the NPP will pull off? If they had lost only about 200, do you think that is, oh, Charlie, out of respect, we know we lost just by 200, but out of respect, we are pulling out? Well, you think of it and let me know what your answer is. And if you look at the margins in Akwatia, you see it was very, very close. And so that closeness, of course, gives the vim to the NDC. No, we have to do it again. And here's the thing, folks. The truth of the matter is this. The NDC is the incumbent. They are in power. So I'm sure that they really believe that people who go to the polls will not go to the polls to vote for a minority, but they will put put the affiliation towards the majority. I mean, that's just simple, you know. When there's a by-election and this dynamic is going on, you may decide, say, no, let me go with the winner. So maybe the NDC is also gingered by the fact that people will now say, because they are winning, let's vote with them. So they may have the confidence that, hey, we will take the seat. They may have the confidence. It could be right, it could be wrong, but that confidence has some basis when you analyze the data. Well, folks, we all live to see. The thing is this, that if the law requires that we do a by-election, that's the law. If we have decided that this thing doesn't work anymore, then let's go and change the constitution so that it's not a matter of say, oh, I'm not doing it because I'm doing it out of respect for anybody. No, I'm doing it simply because the constitution says that this is what we should do. So we are following the constitution, you know. So let's leave that at that. That if we really want to change it, then the constitution must change. Then the law must change. But until the law changes, my dear friends, Kwabena Japan, Bento, you know, the law is the law and the law is the law. And it's very, very interesting, you know, Mosquito's analysis that, you know, this is not about sympathy, but it's about, listen to the way he put it.
Tamale Central, one issue statement, say, Druha Munkobi, the Damasi, Sabio, say, Ubibebu Ama, Wajao Nine, say, wow, Ayane Sukoja Nine, no, I simple. Into your Damasi, but Akwatia, yeah,
So we're back, and I say, as for the Akwatia, we are coming, and you heard the proverb. But this is my advice, you know. I think when I first spoke to Ivan, I said then that I think to avoid any violence and needless bloodshed here, let's cool it off. I said that when I spoke with Ivan. If it was left to me alone, I would say, Charlie, this election crime should. They have nothing to lose but save a lot of blood. If they say, what? Let me hear you. What difference will it make, though? Maybe I'm talking from a very inexperienced view, but
no. You are talking from a very benevolent perspective, but politics is the other way around. Politics is not a game, and you cannot cede power to your opponent. It creates.
No, but the bigger picture.
Yes,
I don't think. Okay, go on.
No,
you are talking. Let me listen to you.
It's not about who leads. It's about bringing development to the doorsteps of the people.
Thank you.
It is about who can go and influence policies, if that is how it's supposed to be.
Is that how they are seeing it on the ground?
That is how it's supposed to be, but unfortunately, there is this sharp deviation, you understand? Because you need to empower somebody who can go and have your interest being advocated for at the corridors of power.
Yeah.
So you cannot trade that in the name of in politics. You do that, you create weakness, and weakness is something that you must not be entertained in politics, because your opponent will always capitalize on such weakness, and it will come back to bite you. You understand? So it's something that the NDC cannot afford to say, hey, no. If you do that, your base will be very disappointed in you.
I see.
Political watchers will see you not as a serious political entity.
Weakness,
yes,
and not.
No, out of benevolence, because politics it has nothing to do with benevolence. It's about policies and programs being done right and servicing people, for instance. So if they can get somebody elected from the NDC who can go get closer to the president and advocate for whatever that they need, it will benefit the people there. You understand? The national party at the top can take that decision, but that will not benefit the people at the ground. We need to give them that particular power to decide. I know that if they decide to vote for MPP, that is their own choice. You understand? So the choice must not be taken away from them. And for me, I think the election has to be conducted.
Now that this thing is going to happen, my advice is going to foot soldiers. My advice is going to the people. Foot soldiers, if you're listening to me, do you know what they call you? grassroots, foot soldiers, you are referred to as the grassroots. Please, what do you do on grass? You step on them. But take this very, very seriously, which means that you, the foot soldiers, you are the ones that any party will step on when they want to accomplish something. And sometimes, unfortunately, the way they step on the grassroots people is to get you all riled up and fight and spill blood. Please don't let any politician from any party use you that way. Let me assure you, when you watch TV and you see the politicians in parliament going after each other, really challenging each other, after the whole hot challenge, do you know what happens after? They go and sit somewhere for lunch. I'm telling you, they eat fufu together. They eat a mucho together.
Atu, this is the same Atu forcing. Atu, is it the same you? Is this Atu forcing? Hey, Atu. Hey, Atu. Hey, Atu forcing. Were you not the person who could not draw down on the CDB loan? Were you not the one who could not implement successfully the IMF facility that disbursement seized? Are you not the same person? Yes, I tell you on authority that during your time, you could not successfully implement the IMF deal. Sit down.
So, all the things that they do in parliament for you to think that they are against each other and they are ready to strangle each other is for show. That one is just for show. And who is the show for? The show is for the grassroots. They are doing that show for the grassroots to say, did you see what rubbish the other guy was saying? Did you see how a man really challenged him? So grassroots, let me tell you that some of the confrontations and a lot of things that they do in parliament, they do that to strengthen your hand. Because honestly, if you have somebody in parliament who is not being forceful, who is being weak, you get disappointed. So this member of parliament crowd, you're weak. He can't speak. So that doesn't strengthen your hand. So they have to keep in mind continuously that the foot soldiers or the grassroots are watching. And if they are watching, then I must show strength. So they show the strength to ginger you up there, because the way you foot soldiers and the people down there, the way you fight, I think they're called a chitaye for followers. Followers are ready to take off their shirt and fight. Followers are ready to kill. Followers are ready to do anything stupid for the party. Why? Because they saw their parliamentarians angry and facing each other. What they don't know is that those parliamentarians that were seemingly fighting, so my advice to the grassroots, Charlie, wake up. That's why they call you the grassroots. You are the ones that are used for the violence, used to kill. It is not necessary. So all the voters in Akwatia, NDC and MPP, please surprise Ghana. Surprise Ghana. Go to the election and not one drop of blood will be shed. Surprise Ghana. Show Ghanaians that you are intelligent, and so you are going to go for an election and not a war. And whoever wins the election has won the election. It is not a fight. Please. And I'm appealing to the big guns in the MPP, the big guns in the NDC. Those of you who, when you speak, they listen. Please, the big guns, tell your followers it is not a war. It's not a war. I saw some people on radio, there'll be bloodshed. I could tell them, everybody, get ready. especially after the Blukuma unfortunate incident, everybody should get ready. There'll be bloodshed.
The MPP will also prepare ourselves, arm ourselves, and get ready for Akwatia. We are telling our boys, we are telling our men, get ready, arm yourself, and prepare for Akwatia. We will meet them in Akwatia if they repeat the same thing they repeated in Ablekuma. We'll wait for them. Thank you.
The concern is that.
Trust me, folks. Oma TV so talking loudly about bloodshed, they won't be there. Let me catch them. They won't be there. If they are there, they'll park their cars somewhere as far away. They'll be in the hotel listening for the results. You are the ones on the ground, though. You are the ones with family. You are the ones with your parents. You are the ones with children. And even if you don't have children, you are the ones that are the youth. You are the future of this country. You are the people whose life must be protected. But they stay in their hotels, they sit on their radio stations, they sit on their TV stations and say there will be violence. They are not there. And their wives will not be there, their husbands will not be there, their children will not be there. But they actually engage you guys to go fight. No way. So this is my advice to the foot soldiers from both parties. First of all, I am tasking the leaders of the parties. Speak with them because they follow you, and when you say it, they will listen. But when you posture and you act as if you are very, very hostile, that's the signal that sends. So Charlie, you see what happened? So that trickles down to them, and they think that they should also adopt that posture. A posture of violence, a posture of fighting. They have lunch together, they have dinner together, they hang out together. They do. But they ginger you and you're ready to shed your blood. Jimmy. You know. So my final appeal, Akwatia, surprise Ghana. Surprise Ghana. I know you've had your goons on TV and radio, and now your friend is saying online, urging you to go and spill blood. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them all. They are speaking on behalf of the party. They have been giving cars, they've been giving money, they've been giving all kinds of things. Did they bring you some? They have taken, they are putting in their pocket, they are chopped, they are driving their vehicles, they are on TV, they are doing this. It'll be bro. But they are telling you that, Charlie, there will be bloodshed. And you too foolishly say, hey, Charlie, please. So let me do my final appeal, Charlie. Surprise Ghana. I want by the time you finish the election in Akwatia, all of Ghana say Charlie Akwatia, both NDC, MPP supporters in Ayaboyes, Mamamu. You have done well. Let us applaud you. You have shown us what it takes to think as human beings and not dogs. I'm begging you, Akwatia, surprise us. You know, I'm sure your ignorant prophets will love to say, hey, and then you too, you think that, oh, this is also from God, so let's get ready to fight. Because even your prophets have said that there's going to be bloodshed. If you like all those prophets come together and take out the platform in Akwatia and tell you, say, Nyame se onpeso humo jebia. Nyame se mu ye nuafo. Nyame se munchire nuado. Mode munkoto abano. We NDC, we MPP, munkoto abano. The obedi di, the anwene. But Nyankopon pese asumdwe ba. That's what God wants. But the prophets will put it in a different way because they are also working with the spiritual jandam people. And then you too, not thinking, you also follow in that. So I'm talking too much, so I'm ending. And my conclusion is very, very, very simple. The law is the law, so the elections will take place. But we are the ones going to vote, so let's think intelligently and realize that we are not going for a war. We are not going for a war. This should not be hostile. I know you think it's hostile because that's what you have seen on TV. That's how you have seen on TV with your ministers or MPs being hostile. But it is not. When we are, they go for lunch. And you have some clowns who are on TV because they've been paid money to incite you. Don't listen to them. Ipamucho. Don't listen to them. So that whenever the election is done, the whole Ghana will say, wow, you won't be said that. Akwatia, actually, Nyansa. Let me speak it in English. The whole Ghana will say, wow, we have never seen such a peaceful election. We have learned a lesson from Akwatia. Akwatia and Pacho, Munche Ghana force, you know how to do it. When you do it, trust me, you'll be surprised that from now on, all elections are going to be like, you are going to be the focal point to educate Ghana that elections and your war. On that note, folks, as I say all the time, if we are able to accomplish that, there's only one signal that is sending that this country is really on the rise. And trust me, Ghana will rise. Whatever we do, this country will rise again.